studio, friends of family and family of friends, and then all of my friends who are currently behind me about to play a really long piece of music. So I'd like to introduce the band before we start, because really after this is over, I think everyone's going to want to go home. So let's do it now. So in the wind section, I have Lucas Steele, Camden Smith, Dr. Sky Jungiger, Robert Russell, and Daniel Oshiro. You can clap. In the trombones, I have Jaron Beatty, Angel, see, how did I mess up the first name? Angel Rodriguez Villalobos, Ty Martin, and Ray Brown. Trumpets, I have Sam Calhorn, Grant Cole, Sage Honda, and Julia Steffensmeyer. In my rhythm section, I have Dr. Malachi Million on guitar, Dr. John Cush on piano, Gabby Nother on bass, and Gavin Gillespie on drum set. I can only guess. You might be wondering, wow, there's a string section. Yep. In the string section, we have Pauline Lee, Jack Carlson, Tony Garrett, Gabriel Marks, Liesl Nowak, Maddie Hall, Cordelia Gray, and Spencer Schiffbauer. And then my lovely vocalists, Molly Wanless, Elise Anderson, and Bella McCowan over here. Now, you might be wondering, especially Kim walking in, you might be wondering, no, it's okay, you're brilliant. Runs to the line must have been really long. Welcome to my type 5, by the way. You might be wondering what this recital is all about, and it's called Sister Suite, and it's about 3 sisters. And it's for big band, double string quartet vocalist, and media. And so what is Sister Suite all about? I'm probably going to cry a bunch, so like, don't judge me for that. What is Sister Suite all about? So, Sister Suite draws on the distinct musical influences of 3 sisters, transforming those sources into original compositions that serve as both inspiration and a point of departure. About the A. I'll fix that, Tom. Each movement represents one sister, reflecting her musical background and artistic development. The work incorporates contrafact writing, which is a big fancy word for I rip people off legally. Motivic cells and stylistically informed composition to shape and individualize each piece. So let's meet these sisters. We have Jill, the youngest, who is with us tonight. We have Sonia, the oldest, who is also my mother, who is also here. And we have Sylvia, the middleist. I thought that would be funny. So just some general, I won't go through all these, but just some general musicians or bands or groups that each sister enjoys, and I want you to try to listen for throughout each movement. And so they go in order of youngest to oldest, so it'll be Jill, then the middleist, Sylvia, and then my mom, Sonia, will be last. Sylvia had a lot of music that I had to get in there, but all good stuff. You know, my mom had the fewest, so I don't know what that's about because I haven't gained a doctorate, so I don't know where I got it. So the challenge of this is, how do I incorporate so many artists with different styles and, you know, eras of music and just a lot of things? How do I do that? Well, I just had to go for it. Really can't finesse it that well. There's a lot of music, but I think I did a lot of listening, and to bands I thought I would never listen to, which sounds weird, but, you know, I'm not a huge fan of Duran Duran, but I know, I'm sorry. Hey, but now I'm not a big fan. So a lot of listening, transcribing melodies, transcribing chords, and really finding how I could mesh these with my own artistic value and my own artistic insight. And so I have 3 vocalists. Obviously, one represents each sister. So who wrote the lyrics? Me. year I did 11 protest songs and I worked with a poet. This year I wanted to take the task of writing the lyrics, and for those who know deep Evan lore, I was in like a folk rock band and bands all through high school and undergrad, so then I was the main songwriter, so I'm not unfamiliar to writing lyrics, but I have never written lyrics in a jazz context before, so it was still a new thing for me. And the lyrics either showcase the spirit of the sister, or the words they would say, or words people would say about them, as in like an outsider's perspective, or even sister to sister. So I'm putting words in their mouths, basically. But I think that they would say these things, and I've known them for 31 years, so I think I know them pretty well. Each primary movement is supposed to be relatable. One of my favorite songwriters once said that he writes his lyrics to be 80% relatable to the common man, so that they feel themselves represented in the music. So I tried to do the same thing here. Why add strings? Welcome back to my Tide Pod. So many of these groups that you saw earlier had symphonic string sections. The biggest one I can think of is ABBA. And ABBA had some crazy string parts I had to transcribe that were very hard to understand, but it just sounded so good. So I wanted to incorporate that, and this is, I think every year I've been here, I pushed myself to the next level to see what I could accomplish. And so I think adding strings, and realistically, the first week I got here, Tom asked me what I wanted to write. And I said, I don't know. Well, what should I write? And he said, well, have you ever written a string quartet? And I said, no. And so he said, well, I hope you have a string quartet next week. And so I wrote a string quartet, and it was my first experience really writing for strings. And I was in my late 20s at that point. God, so long ago. But it was my first foray, and that was really helpful. I'm very grateful for Tom and all his insight and expertise and knowledge, and our 2-hour-long lessons where we listen to music for maybe 6 minutes, because and that's not a joke, I'm truly grateful for everything he's taught me and told me through those times, because I think even if it's not music related, I think it's made me a better person. So when Tom pushed me to write that string quartet, I think it was opening my eyes to be, I should push myself and not just have someone else act on me. So I pushed myself and wrote for a double string quartet, because that's 2 more. So let's talk about the titles of these pieces. So I wanted to keep originality, and I wanted to incorporate some things I like as well, because I'm selfish. And so the first tune you'll hear is a contrafact of what's called the Soul Intro of the Chicken by one of my favorite bass players, Jaco Pastorius. And this concert starts as a birthday concert, and he opens the concert with saying that exact line. And you'll hear that sample tonight. And then we move into Interlude 1, which is entitled Everybody Loves Her, which is a play on the rock song that was written about Jill called Everybody Loves Jill. And so, for all you cowboy mouth heads out there, really try to catch that melody that comes through. And then the movement name for Jill is called Wild Child, because she's the youngest, and usually the youngest is pretty crazy. I think Jill's pretty tame, but I wasn't around in the 80s and 70s, so I don't know. But I have stories from others to tell. The second set of movements is dedicated to Sylvia. Sylvia passed away to breast cancer about 15 years ago. So in traditional suite fashion, the second movement is a ballad. So I slow it down for Sylvia, as she was very insightful to everyone she touched. And so I wanted to pay tribute to her. And she lived in Wisconsin, so you'll hear some Wisconsin. And then you'll hear the girl with the winding hair, because she had a fro, and it was big. And so you'll see some clips of that, because there's also media, don't forget. And then the third set of movements are all about my mom, and you'll learn more about showing up and the pillar later. And then Tell Her You Love Her is about everyone's to tell them you love them, because you never know. So, how does the media interact with this? It's for big band, strings, vocalists, and media. So I have a bunch of home footage from the 80s to 2000. A lot, like 6 hours. And so I come through 6 hours of footage for over like 3 months, just trying to find the right clip, trying to find something that went along with the music. It was a lot. It was a lot of me sitting at my computer crying a little bit because I'm watching, a video of my older sister when she's 2 years old at her first Christmas, something I've literally never seen with my own eyes. Or seeing my dad's parents at a holiday function who have both passed away, who my dad's father passed away when I was a baby, so I never knew him. So it was a lot of emotional toll, but really worth it in the end. But I want all this media to really add to your experience and to what you think about your family and like what you think about now as we go through a very digital age compared to, you're going to see the camera at one point. It's like a bazooka for a camera. So please enjoy Sister Suite and hold all your applause till the end. You can clap lightly for soloists, but you don't want to cover up the music. But thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to say hello to my mother.
With you is that there aren't really any big moments, but so many little moments that have been so consistent over the years. After 30 years of friendship, there are lots of great stories. But my favorite Jill story would have to be when we lived together on Tower Street. Going home one Sunday afternoon, I was walking out the apartment door with a laundry basket in hand, only for me to trip and fall over a stepping stone on my way out of the door, completely blinding, landing face first in the middle of the corridor. As I'm getting up, I turn around. Jill was in the doorway of our apartment, completely belly roll laughing at me for falling. I knew at that moment we had to be friends forever. I never had a sister, but I do have a Jill. Jill is the coolest person I know. Always down for whatever, and when I did it for a while. She's taught me lots of things. She's taught me how to dance to the crowd, to do the
All the time, and don't see it Sylvia was born November 16th, I think it was 1962. One thing I really remember about her is she was really athletic. She played softball as a kid. She told me she did gymnastics as a kid. I remember her showing off floor routine moves all the way like into her 30s. She'd do backhand springs and stuff like that. I remember we did a lot of motorsports based stuff. She used to dirt bike with me and Jamie in Arizona. She'd go to the drag races with us, and many of the old timer drag racers would remember her as Erlis's kid. At one point she had a Mustang, and I remember her doing a burnout in the Mustang. So kind of a gearhead type person. One thing I don't think a lot of people know about her is how good she was at trivia. Man, she was like one of the best at doing trivia. Jeopardy was on the television a lot when I was a little kid, and I remember like she'd answer like 80% of the questions on Jeopardy. We'd watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and she'd go all the way to the $1 million question, and sometimes she'd even answer the $1 million question. Looking at her like, you should sign up for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You're winning it when we're watching it on television. She was really allergic to dogs and cats. A dog we had, Shelby, it was a husky, just licked her hand once and she broke out in hives in her hand. Always liked to come out to the outdoors with us. A lot of like canoeing, boating, camping. She's deathly afraid of snakes though, but she would still come out in the middle of nowhere camping with us. She didn't fish a whole lot. I think I did more of the fishing. I do remember her liking Mel Gibson movies a lot before everyone knew he was crazy. She liked Angelina Jolie a lot too. I don't know what that was all about. She did a lot of cooking. She was really good at cooking and baking. She made a really killer chicken pot pie from scratch. She'd make some of the best cakes. There were always a variety of types of cakes, but they were always really good. She rollerbladed a lot. Like we'd go to the park and she'd rollerblade. I liked skateboarding, so I'd be on my skateboard and she'd pass me by on her rollerblades. She liked tending to her vegetable garden in the summer. That was probably where she spent most of her time in the summer, was gardening. She liked the lilies of the valley. That was her favorite flower, just because they smell so good. She was like religious about balancing the checkbooks. She's a huge Fleetwood Mac fan. Really, really good at being a mother. I think we could probably all say that about all of the Elma Erlis daughters. Even if Jill had kids, she'd probably be an outstanding mother too. I think they were probably all had the same traits that made them good at this. Super patient, really good communicator for what had to happen and what was good for the family and knowing what was good for the family. She wasn't really great at communicating what she needed. I look back at that, that's something that maybe I could have done better, is understanding what she needed. She was always really good at making sure everyone else's needs were taken care of. She had a really good, like, motherly, caring energy. Like, when my friends would come over, they always said they felt like they were one of her kids coming to my house. But she was sharp. Like, nothing got by her. So we couldn't really get into too much mischief or trouble around her. Music, she told me she loved Fleetwood Mac, the Eagles, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Dolly Parton, Loretta Lynn, the Judds, Reba McEntire, Led Zeppelin, Heart, Garth Brooks, George Strait, Alabama, and Mannheim Steamboat. That was always playing. With the cancer, I remember, I think it was in 2002 when she got her first diagnosis of breast cancer. That one went into remission, but I think she only got to stay in remission for like a year before she got the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
something I cry. The sun's so nice, I feel the radiance. I skin on skin, your hair looks just like mine.
me tell you about the most profoundly impactful person I've ever known. My mother isn't just a figure in my past. She is the gravitational center of my entire life. She has impacted every single part of who I am, how I navigate the world, and most critically, how I parent my own children. From the outside, it might seem simple, but what she did, and what I believe is the mark of a truly great parent, was to continuously curate an environment for us to be exactly who we wanted to be. There was never an expectation that we fit a mold she had designed. Instead, she provided the materials, the scaffolding, and the safety net. She never once stopped us from pursuing any success we were looking for. If we wanted to climb a mountain, she handed us the rope. If we decided halfway up we wanted to be architects instead, she was already drawing the blueprints with us. This isn't more evident to me than in the music you're listening to today, from a 6th grade saxophone player that we didn't know if he would stick with us. The focus on internal drive and support is something I've carried directly into my own family. My children can tell you that I strive to impact 3 main beliefs, 3 core pillars that I genuinely believe are the most important things in life. Into their brains, I hammer these things as often as possible. 2 of those things, the most important ones, I learned directly from her. The third is a Mallory original. Always be polite to the person making your food. That's just good karma. But let's talk about the big 2, the lessons my mom instilled. The first is bet on yourself. I admit this actual quote is from Kobe Bryant, but I feel like it perfectly encompasses the central, vital lesson my mom always has strived to teach me. She wanted me to know that I was the captain of my own ship, and that the only person whose effort, dedication, and follow through I could truly guarantee was my own. Because you are the only one that's gonna make it happen, whatever it is. And that leads us directly to the second and arguably most defining lesson she gave me. You can pretend to care, but you can't pretend to show up. Showing up is consistency. Showing up is sacrifice. Showing up is presence. My mom's presence was the quiet soundtrack of my entire childhood. She was at every extracurricular activity, every choir concert, every dance recital, every school play, every book fair. She was watching, she was cheering, she was taking pictures. She made sure that I felt seen and prioritized in every way. This is the biggest takeaway I have in motherhood. At the end of the day, my kids have always been that I showed up, and that commitment has a lane. Even now, with my children, if something comes up and I can't pick one of them up, there's no discussion. My mom can. It's a certainty in an unpredictable world. She's the definition of a no questions asked human being. If you need her, she will be there, full stop. When I set out to
Thank